Evening guys. Right, this evening we are doing a keto dish. If you're not aware what keto is, it's basically high fat, high protein, low carbohydrate meal. We've not done quite as much today as what we normally would do. We did the band session this morning, but Hannah would normally go out running, but she's not. I've been in the kitchen all day, so I've not done any bike riding or any kind of stuff from the punch bag. So generally this is the type of meal that we would do when we haven't done as much. You know, we eat relative to the kind of exercise that we've done. Like I said the other day when I did the carbonara, if we were doing lots of exercise, that's the kind of meal that we would enjoy. If we've been out all day walking or stomping around, that's the kind of meal we would do to get those carbs and that energy back into us. So first things you need to do, guys, is get your ovens on. Mine's on at a 220, just so I want to get the heat up into the oven, but we're going to cook it about a 180, all right? And then I've got my chicken breast. Okay, I've actually got 5 of us this evening because you are allowed to socialise now with one other person. I've got 5 of us. So if you're wondering who's the 5th chicken breast for, we are going to make small pockets into the chicken breast in a minute. So I'm going to almost butterfly it, but trying to leave the top and the bottom end just to try and keep some of my mixture in there. All right. So we'll start with that first. I'll do each chicken breast, place it back in the bowl. I'll give the border wipe down, and then we'll start prepping the stuff that's going to go inside, i.e. a little bit of Parmesan cheese. All right, I've got a little bit of Parmesan cheese left over. I'd normally go a little bit more. I'd like to have had about twice that, but I didn't have enough left. So that's what I'm just going to use up, and then I'm going to go with about 4 heaped tablespoons of the cream cheese. I'm going to get a load of that spinach shredded up nice and small. Okay, and I'm going to mix that through with my hands, and I'm going to get my hands in there, and I'm going to hands and spoon stuff that chicken breast. Now you could tie the chicken breast bacon wrapped around it or Parmesan wrapped around it. It's also quite nice, that holds it all together. Tonight I'm looking around the there. I'm going to, if needs be, I'm going to get some cocktail sticks and just pin the cocktail sticks just to hold it nice and close. I might not need to, it might not need it, and then I'm going to get that chicken breast in the oven, pan on. Then I'm going to steam some green beans and some asparagus. And then I'm going to pan fry some samphire. We've got a little bit of samphire left over. Right, and then I'm going to add my green beans and asparagus into the samphire, mix it all together. So just pan fry that off to finish. That's going to be my base. All right, I'll place that down, and then I'm just going to place the chicken breast on top. Don't need any excess or extra sauce because there's going to be plenty coming out of that chicken. So really simple, quick dish. The only thing I forgot to say is actually I'm going to season the outside of the chicken breast just to give it a nice little dusting, a nice little red colour of paprika. All right. So it'll take about 30 minutes, and that's basically how long it's going to take the chicken to cook. Right. So enough of me gobbling off. Let's get going. Been out cooking all day. We've been at the prep kitchen today. We've done 120 meals today. Ben's off to Barnstable tomorrow, delivering food that was donated from the Plymouth Round Table guys. They donated £1,600 actually, and supported Young Devon, which are homeless and people in foster care. Alright, so I'm just going to slice down through that one. So I'm trying to keep the top end, alright, so it doesn't all just pour out that top end. So it's like a pocket, right, into there. So I can use the tip of my knife. Try not to make too much of a mess of the chicken breast. But you don't want to quite go all the way through. Alright, so there we go. Look, I've got a nice pocket, and that I'm going to fill up in a minute with that mixture. Yeah, so back to it. Ben's got a journey up to Barnstable tomorrow. We don't normally deliver that far. So I'm just checking to see if there's anything I need to take off it. So I always go with the thicker side of the chicken breast. That's where I'm going to make my incision. Whilst I get around and do some of the deliveries in Plymouth for Hugs from Henry. They're still getting some really cool donations in, so that's cool. We're going to get out, and we've had ITV with us today. The news crew have been up with us doing a little bit of stuff. So thanks to Elsbeth and the guys at Hugs from Henry. Obviously we've done all the cooking for them, but they've squared that away from us, so that's really nice. In fact, I'm not going to leave that one because one's going to be out of cheese. I have a non-cheese eater. Okay, so I'm just taking the little bits of rubbish off it. There's not too much on this chicken breast. Hopefully those of you that joined us this morning for the band session enjoyed that one. It was quite tough actually. I haven't done any sort of band work since we've been on lockdown. I normally do a lot with cables, so it's kind of replicating what you would do in the gym with cables. And it's really cool if you slow it down. Actually, I can really feel it in my shoulders from this morning. Was that the one I set to one side? So I've got 1, 2, 3. That's the one, so I put that one, last one. So tomorrow morning, back with the kids. So 9:30 tomorrow morning, back with the children. We'll do a nice high intensity body weight session. Okay, so that's my chicken breast all prepped. I didn't pocket one of them because one of them's not going to have anything inside. Right, let's get that wiped down. Let's get rid of bits of chicken. Let's just wipe off the raw chicken. Clean my knife down. The tea towels were missing. Don't worry. So that's salmon dish tomorrow. So stir-fried vegetables tomorrow evening. Courgette, green beans, corn, onions, peppers, all that kind of stuff going in there tomorrow. Salmon and black bean sauce. Right, so we're going to oven that up tomorrow and get that going. Right, spinach. I'm going to go 4 nice big handfuls of spinach. I'm going to keep the stalks onto there. I'm not worried about taking the stalks off. I'm not wilting it. Right, I'd say 4. Probably my handfuls are quite big, aren't they? It's going to get shredded up, right, and it will cook as we're going. So I'm going to literally shred away. I might have done a bit too much now. I got a bit excited with the spinach. Let's have a look, see what we can get away with. Obviously, I want to try and get as much of that in as possible. So another good thing to put in with this actually is a bit of basil. So if you've got any spare basil, you could shred that up into this as well. That goes really nicely. I didn't have any fresh basil left over, so didn't put that in.
You sometimes put sun-dried tomatoes in as well, don't you?
Yeah, sun-dried tomatoes, or if we don't use cream cheese, feta cheese is very nice. I think that's going to be enough. I think I'll be overloading them. I'll keep that to one side just in case not. Right, let's get that little bit of parmesan grated into there first. Suppose if you, I think I said before, if you don't like parmesan, try it fresh. Yeah, this the kind of the dry stuff you get in a little plastic pot is not so good. Fresh parmesan's actually really good.
Talking about dry stuff,
yes.
Rosie's just asked a question. Is dry basil any good?
Yeah, you can use dry. You will never get the same kind of intense flavour from any dry herbs as you will fresh, unfortunately. But if you've got it, then by all means, yeah, get it in there. Yeah, but if you've never cooked with fresh herbs before, one of the guys on Plan X actually only said to me the other day, wow, I've never used fresh herbs before, what a difference. Yeah, so if you're someone that's only ever used dry herbs, try it, it really does intensify the flavours. Okay, I'm going to use all of that because there's probably about a teaspoon left over. Right, so like I said, it's a high fat dish but a low carbohydrate dish. Right, so my body reacts really well to this kind of meal. Paleo and kind of keto meals. That's where I find I get the best results if I'm trying to be really good and trying to get into really good shape. That's where I find I get the best results. Obviously everyone's bodies are different, which again is why on Plan X we look into that and see what body type you've got, and probably can establish that as a nutritionist, and with her programs that she uses, we establish what macronutrients, so what carbohydrates, fats and proteins each different individual requires. I would suggest that you probably eat a bit more carbohydrates than me.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Okay. Let's have a look then. Let's get that chicken back onto here. Right, so I'm going to go fingers, guys. They're already really dirty. I could have used my spoon, but I like to get in amongst it. So don't go mad first of all and just load one up with loads. Just make sure you've got enough first. You know, so make sure you're divvying it out equally, and you can always come back and add a little bit extra. We don't want to leave any left over. But you can see I'm just getting that in there, stuffing the chicken. Lovely. Get loads and loads of flavour from that. Loads of goodness. nutrients, vitamins, a good bit of iron from spinach. Most people generally are iron deficient. Most people don't get enough iron in their diets, as we don't get enough vitamin D. Something that we need to supplement with. Okay, lovely, almost done. So I will use those cocktail sticks in a minute. I'll show you what I'm going to do with those. We'll just pin over. I'm going to have a little tidy up first because I'm going to get a little bit messy here otherwise. Right, let's give my hands clean. We got any questions so far there, Hannah?
No, there was only the one question about the basil.
Yeah, ultimately, I mean, I know things are loose. Are you eating stuff again, Hannah?
I'll just move that out of the way.
I thought it looked like you were eating things again. Okay, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to pin my chicken breast first, then I'm going to drizzle with a little bit, so I'm going to pin them through like so. Right, then I'm going to use a little bit of that chili oil just to kind of moisten it, and it will help that paprika stick to the chicken breast. So about 3 we'll probably do each one. So you can see I'm just going through the kind of opening. It's almost like I'm just pinning. There we go. Okay, so lay that one in. Let's get all 3 of those done. Oven's almost up to temperature, which is perfect. I'll have plenty of time for questions in a minute anyway, because whilst this is cooking, the next bit is quite simple. All we'll be doing is preparing our vegetables, getting all that ready.
A question has just come through actually. What? Where do you source the chicken breast, please? They look huge.
Where do I source the chicken breast?
Depends really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does depend. So if we're out at the kitchen and we're cooking for our deliveries, we use a company called RD John's. It's a local food
supplier,
wholesaler, supplier, yeah. Generally at home, I haven't really got a favourite supermarket, if I'm honest with you. And I'll often, it depends if I'm out delivering food, I'll often go to a supermarket where I am. So if I've been over Plimpton before and I've stopped at the Morrison's over that end, I've been over Saltash and I've stopped at the Waitrose. These were from Morrison's. Because I was over that way yesterday, but I will often go to Tesco's. Yeah, I haven't really got a favourite. There is certain things you can get at certain supermarkets. I do like certain things that Sainsbury's do. If you're barbecuing, Sainsbury's do some really nice stuff. When everything's open, I often use the butchers and whatnot at the bottom of Plymouth. Different places. Right guys, I'm just going to give my hands a quick wash once more, and then I'm going to go with that oil and the paprika. So the red oil, okay, is just going to give us a little bit of something for that to adhere to. Right, so I'll just put my thumb over the top of it, give it a little sprinkling, not loads, it's a little bit of chili oil. Just give that a nice little bit of flavour. Okay, and then I'll just do this middle one with a little bit of salt and pepper. We've got someone who eats very plain in the middle, not used to our flavoursome cooking. Right, so about half a teaspoon, a little bit less than half a teaspoon on each one. So I'll rub that in a minute. So it's kind of spread all over. Okay, so just around the sticks. Rub that in. Okay, so it's going to give that a really nice red colour when that's cooked off in a minute. So I'll get a little bit more on this one here. I've gone a little bit sparse on that one. I think I put most of
it's probably all right for Olivia, to be honest.
That will be mine. Remember, paprika's not hot, guys, unless you buy a hot paprika. Paprika is smoky, so it'll give you a smoky barbecue type flavour. That one is a smoky one anyway. You can buy hot paprikas, but that is not what we've got there today. Right, I'm just going to salt and pepper that middle one. Yeah, just a little bit of Himalayan pink rock salt, just to give that a little bit of flavour. Otherwise, it's going to be a very bland, boring chicken breast in the middle, which I just can't do. And I am the chef. Okay, salt and pepper. Oh, Okay, so we've got 5 chicken breasts stuffed with cream cheese and spinach. So you can see there that it's just starting to ooze out. I've turned those up, right, so they sit up. So that's all, not when it cooks and as it obviously starts to melt, I don't want it all just kind of pouring out. So sit them up slightly and that will keep it. Okay, brilliant. That's going to go in the hole. Where are we at? 1/4 past. Cool. Right, what I'll get going next then. So there will be about 30 minutes. So we'll have a little tidy up. Okay, and then we'll start prepping our vegetables.
Ruth said she's making the prawns tonight and she'll do this tomorrow.
Monkfish.
I don't know, she doesn't mention monkfish, but I'm assuming that's what she means because you haven't done anything else with prawns, I don't think.
Only the prawn and monkfish curry. Unless she's just doing it with prawns. Again, that's fine, guys. Just adapt these recipes. That was a particularly good one, though. I did enjoy that one. In fact, I was dying here last night. I was trying to think of the ones that we have done because over the 4 weeks now, we've done quite a lot on different days. I know the salmon with the chili jam has gone down very well with a few people. The pie, the sausage, casserole,
Risotto.
The risotto was really good, wasn't it? But that mazamam curry is probably one of my favourites. The jambalaya. They're all on our page, guys, so you can go back to them all. Go back and have a little look. So if you've missed any, we've been getting them uploaded onto YouTube, and we've been. They all stay on the DB Fitness and Nutrition page. So you
just need to, click on videos. There's loads on there, but just scroll through and you'll find them.
There we go. Right, what I'm going to do next then is get that steamer up to boil. No, in fact, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to get these vegetables prepped. There's not a lot to do to them, guys. All I'm going to do. I'm going to use a whole lot of these. Yeah, simply going to do with those is take the tails off, right? Just take the little ends off them, and then we'll click our asparagus. We'll take the ends off those. And then the actual salmon fry, we don't need to do anything to it. It's ready to go. So all we'll do is we'll heat some oil in the pan and we'll get that cracking. Is
this going to be one that you finish off camera?
I think so.
Yeah, because otherwise...
kind of hanging around,
yeah,
waiting for my chicken breast to cook, which only went in at 1/4 past. So what I'll do is I'll prep all this up and then place it all up on the plate, and I'll get the final picture up. So you can see what it looks like. So all I'm doing now, look, guys, is just queuing them all up. Okay, so I just use my end of my knife, just make sure they're all in line. Otherwise, you kind of cut them one green bean at a time. So you just get them all in line and just take all the tops off at once, and they're gone. Right, so it's all just little things that will really help save you time. All I'm going to do with those is go in half again. So down in half again, and we'll get them in the steamer. The steamer's not on yet, so that will only take about 5 minutes in the steamer. Right, if you haven't got a steamer, okay, another really good thing you can do, okay, something that we do out in the kitchen, because obviously we're using massive pots out there, okay, is one of those over the top of a hot boiling thing of water. Right, and then I could just improvise, get a lid that kind of fits, over the lid goes, there you go, you've got a steamer. Right, really good, really quick way of doing your vegetables, and why am I putting that lid back in there? Really quick way of doing the vegetables, put that back in there. And you preserve a lot of the goodness. Right? If you boil the life out of your vegetables, you are basically cooking all the goodness out of them. Right? So the rawest state, so the most nutritious I could get that green bean is by eating it like it is now. Okay, but obviously a lot of people don't like it with that much crunch. They don't like it cold. Right? So although very nice in a salad actually, cooked and then gone cold. So yeah, best way to cook your veg is quick. Stir fry is a really good way to preserve all the goodness in your vegetables. Same as meat, same as red, so particularly red meat. Obviously there's a certain temperature you do need to cook white meat to, because otherwise you're going to start giving yourself food poisoning. However, red meat and fish like salmon and tuna, you can actually you can eat all of that from raw, obviously. And the more you cook it, the more the protein you cook out of it. I think I've mentioned in one of these videos before, that's when you go to France and you ask for a steak well done, that's why they kind of look at you in a bit of disgust, because you're basically annihilating all the goodness out of that piece of meat that you're ordering. However, again, it is down to personal preference. I like mine very raw, and I know, obviously, lady behind the camera Not a big fan of red meat, but would like it a lot more, well done. Same with tuna, likes it cooked all the way through. Okay, what I'm going to do with the ends, guys, is just give them a click off. They'll break at the natural point. So you've got a real woody stalk here at the end. So we're just going to snap. There you go. It's all gone at that point. So you're not losing those. You're just losing the naff bit at the end. You could preserve those if you wanted to for a soup. You could do a nice asparagus soup with the ends, because you're going to blitz that down anyway. You're going to blend it down so you wouldn't kind of get that woody nasty bit anyway.
Rosie says, I only have garlic infused oil. You use chili oil, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
Do you know what, Rosie? I used the chili oil purely because it was red and it goes with the colours of the paprika. But yeah, garlic oil will be absolutely fine. It just gives it that little bit of flavour. You're just trying to chuck a little bit more flavour.
And it just helps the spice to adhere to the chicken.
Yeah. If I just chuck that on, it would soak in because the chicken breast is moist, but it would kind of just sit on top and you'd have to rub it in a little bit, whereas actually I've just put that on, it's like a glue. You're chucking a nice little bit of glue on top of your chicken breast and then it pulls it in. Right, guys, I've got that ready to go. Okay, I'm going to get some coconut oil out and I'm going to get the coconut oil ready to go in this pan. So all I'm going to do with the coconut oil is get that melted up. Okay, and then I'm just going to pan fry for about 2 to 3 minutes. So I'll do my veg for 2 to 3 minutes, so I'll do that for 2 to 3 minutes, then I'm going to combine it all, stir fry it through, so it will give the green beans and the asparagus a nice little shine from the oil that I'm cooking it with. I'm going to get my nice big spoon, and I'm going to place all that nicely in the middle of the plate. So I'm going to go with about 5 pieces of asparagus each. I'm going to equal out the green beans and equal out the salmon fire. Alright, place that in the middle, and then I'll put the chicken breast on top, oozing with cream cheese and asparagus. Cream cheese and spinach, sorry.
You could use any vegetables really, couldn't you?
Yeah. So I would suggest kale would be really nice. You could do any vegetables. This would also go quite nicely with a Mediterranean roasted vegetables. You could bang it in, so in the oven at the same time. That's a really good point for saving time. Right, if you've just come home from work, if people are now starting to slowly go back to work, you could get your chicken ready, get your vegetables ready. So Mediterranean vegetables, I would go with something like a red onion, some peppers, some courgette, some tomatoes, basil, garlic.
Butternut squash.
You could do a little bit of butternut squash, not traditional, but we often chuck that in to bulk that out a little bit. And then you could get that covered in a nice bit of oil, get your chicken in, both in the oven, 30 minutes, both out of the oven, you've got your vegetables, you've got your chicken. 30
really
minutes,
quick.
And you could be going up and having a shower in the time that it's all in the oven. Back downstairs, away we go. Right guys, I'm not going to keep you here for another 20 minutes for my chicken to cook. Right, so what I'll do, I will post up the picture, or I could potentially, what I might do actually guys, just as it's all coming together, I might flick on another live and just do a second part of this cooking demo, and then we can just add the two together on the same post. Alright, thank you very much for tuning in. I shall see you all tomorrow morning, hopefully for some family hit. And if you do have time, I will put this back on live at 6:45. Alright, 6:45, that's when we will get that going. Thank you very much. Cheers guys.